Martin is having network issue.
What about the other guy, Tosin?
Ah, you know, we are different location. I and Martin were in worry, and we normally meet, we normally see. So Martin is supposed to reach me this evening, but unfortunately he went for something. So see, I've not really contacted him privately before.
Because what we want to treat today is the logical aspect of programming.
Okay.
So is he trying? Is Martins trying to join,
Yes, he's
or
trying
they
to join
or they will go through the video now, Abi?
for them to go through the video.
That's what I'm saying. No, I don't know if that video, if they can even understand the way that video is flowing. Is it understandable?
I've not I jot my notes down, so I've not really watched the video. I normally jot notes
Oh,
because I don't want to miss out anything this time around. When I did Java, I didn't attend the beginning part, which is those parts you are teaching now. I didn't attend it in Java. So
yeah,
it
yeah,
really it affected me when I started coding.
yeah.
So I'm using my note. I normally download the video, keep in my system as archive, but I normally jot down my notes.
Okay. I think we should continue now.
What is your rules? What does it say in your horizon? You have only one class member. Are you to continue? That is my question. So I don't ask selfish.
Although, although that's true, sure. We have to carry everybody along. I don't even know. Let me please. Can we find out what Tosin is doing? What's wrong with Tosin?
Let me find a way to get it.
Hey, I'm sending it to the wrong. So you.
Okay. I'm calling you. Hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, Tosi is going to join the 10 minutes time. That's what they said.
Okay. Are we waiting till 10 minutes or what? We should continue. They will watch video now.
Ah, okay.
They
Yes,
have to
okay. It's
watch.
already 9. It's already 9:21. Wow.
They want to get.
7:21.
They have to watch the video.
Okay, you can go ahead, sir.
All right. Okay. So you're going to create a new file now. I'm going to create a new file. We want to enter control flow. So let me pass it inside a folder. Let me say control. So inside this control, the first in a control flow we have function, because I saw one assignment use function. Then we'll look at the lambda function. We'll look at the if else statements. We'll look at the short form, the if elif statements. Then we'll also look at the for loop. I don't know, probably that for loop I have to skip it because I've talked about it on the collection. But we are going to look at a while loop. Then we'll look at the break and continue statements. Then before we now look at pass statements. So these are what I want to achieve today. Hopefully I'll be able to finish them. So let's first of all start with the function. So since this control of this is a folder, I hope you know that this is a folder. Inside this folder, I'm going to create a file.
Okay. Is it folder you created?
Yes, I created a folder. So inside the folder, I'm creating a file now. This file, let's call it function.py. You can write an entire application inside one function. So then what is a function? We define function in Python as a group of statements that perform a particular task. A group of
So
statements.
please, you got mute when you wanted to start the explanation, sir.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Okay, you are back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now, sir.
Okay. Sorry about that. I never knew I muted it. Now I said we are looking at function, and I said something that if Python is a programming language and is an object-oriented programming language, therefore the terminology for programming language it should follow. All right, and we
Yeah.
discussed in the beginning that function, array, variables, classes, and objects are what make a programming language object oriented. So we want to start with functions today. Our functions fall under the control flow statement in Python. Then what is a function? A function is a group of statements that perform a specific task. But I normally, because I'm a practical person, I can tell you that a function is a group of statements that can perform different tasks. In the sense that inside a function I can do a lot of things. So the question is, how do we declare function in Python? And in Python there are two type of function. Should I call it, yeah, two type of function? uh, let's call it three type because we have the inbuilt function. Remember what we talk about method, right? Methods are,
Yeah.
they are functions also, but they are built in, they are created and for us to use them. The other type of function is the user defined function, which we are going to be looking at. Then after the user defined function, there is a function in Python called the anonymous function. It means the nameless word function. But let's start with the user defined function. If you are defining function in Python, you have to use your def words, the def keyword. Alright? The def keyword, so this is syntax, followed by the function name. The function name will come in here. Then you have your parentheses, bracket open and close, your column, then you have your statements, or what statements. Then now this is a function. Remember, this statement can replace multiple statements inside. For you to trigger a function in Python, you call the words the function name. So if I call this function name, I am triggering that function that I just called. So this line 5 is calling a function. This line 1 to 2 is declaring your function. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to comment it out. Alright, so now the first thing, let's declare a function. I want to declare a function. My first function, let's say def my, and function is declared without, you don't have to pass space. Alright, if you are having a multiple statement, you can just pass in underscore, pass the statement there. But if you don't want to follow that syntax, you can say func. Alright, you put them together so that it will not be confusing. Then you pass it like this. Remember I said your curly brace, your colon will have to come. Now this function is going to greet, let's say print good evening EJ. Now when you declare a function like this and you run your function, your program is not going to execute anything, and there's not going to be error in your program. All right, but the thing is that the function is yet to be triggered. If you want to trigger a function, you call your function name, which is what my func. You remember bracket open and close must be at the front of your words. Of it. When you run the function now,
Yes.
you're going to have good evening ej. So line 9 is to call your function, while the line 6 is to what? Is to declare your what? Your function. Is that okay?
Please come in. No, no, wait first, sir.
Okay.
So as you declare the function my for, then you print good evening EJ. Now assuming I don't if you comment out that definition, which is the declaration at the top, will
Yeah.
the print good evening EJ will it not still print out?
It will not print out. That will be against indentation. It will become an indentation error. So if I comment this out now, I'm going to have a indentation because you can see there, it's already telling you this is it.
No, no, no. What? Okay.
But if it's like this,
Wow.
it's going to print out. You know, print statement is normally to output, but this is no longer a function. This is just printing out good evening EG.
So don't you think that's what happened that you now have good evening EJ?
Huh? No, that was not what happened. I call my function. I call the function.
Okay.
Let me go back there. Remember,
Okay.
if look at it, if I remove this guy, despite the fact that I said print good evening EJ, it will not still come out. Do you see printed out? No. Let me increase this guy. Nothing is printed out, but I have a print statement here that says what? Good evening EJ. It's not coming out. But if by the time I uncomment this guy, then I run it back, what do you see? You see good evening EJ printed out. So it is because I call the function. This is not a what? A function. Do you get it?
Okay. So what is the difference between this function now, like if statement, are they function?
If statement. If statement is a
Yes.
built-in function. It's a built-in function, but is a conditional statement. Just like you have your print statement.
Okay.
It's a conditional statement. We'll still get there. It's part of the control flow. Alright, now let's assume that I want to do multiple things with this particular my function. I can say I want to add two numbers with the same function. If I say x is equals to 50 and I say y is equals to 500, then I say zeal equals to x plus y. Then I come here. Remember I have good evening ej. I pass in. We talk about concatenation. Concatenation means joining two things together, right? Now,
Yeah.
I want to ask a question. There's going to be a big fat error here between in line 10. Then let me know if you are going to know what is going on there. Okay, you can see that it's printing it out for me. Good evening, EJ 5050. 50, yeah, they are correct. Which is 50 plus
The value.
5,000, which is
Yeah.
5,050. Now, you notice that we are not having error, but there's going to be error by the time I have this guy here. It's not that I'm wrong, but there's going to be error. All right. What do you have? We have error there. Can you read it?
Uh, yeah, because the data type, when
Is
you remove the comma, the data
yes
type automatically change to a string.
to a string. Which one
Yeah,
is
because your good evening EJ, your good evening EJ is just a text, which is a string, not a variable. But now
okay?
you remove the comma, it now look as if you are adding the good evening EJ to the value of Z.
Which is integer.
Yes.
All right. So how do you correct it? You have to convert this one to string because good evening EJ is already what? A string, right?
Yeah.
So you use your string method. You call your stro bracket. You have to close this one. But in this case now, it's not going to give you this. Okay, I think it's going to give you out your results. You're still going to have it printed out. Good evening EJ
It-
5050.
yeah.
But now it's coming out as a what? As a string. Okay. Now
Yeah.
that's one thing about the function. But let me go back to how it was before. Comma. All right, I have it printed out like this. Now I want you to write a program a function that will accept user imputed value and it will add them together. What will I do? Instead of me to have this 50 here, I can say int, remember I'm collecting integer, input, I'll have enter your first number here. So this other one, instead of having 5,000, I'm going to have int input enter your second number here. So I have this thing like this. You can see now this is a function. Immediately I run this function, I'm going to get a prompt. All right, it's going to give me a prompt. The first prompt, enter your what, your first number here. Let's say I enter 3. Enter your second number here. I enter 10. So you can see 3 plus 10 is what, is 13. All right, so that is how to modify that program for user imputed words, user imputed value. If that is understood, you can declare another function again. I can have something like this here, and I say I can say print. I have done it before, which is a print out good evening what, eg. I use that as a case study. All right, now let's look at another topic in function. Okay, we have function parameter. Function with what, parameter and argument. So function with parameter and what, argument. If argument, we are looking at function with parameter argument. What is a parameter? A parameter is what you pass inside a function. All right, a parameter is what you pass inside a function, while argument is what you use to feed in towards the parameter, because every parameter requires argument to what, to operate. Am I communicating? Every parameter require argument to what, to operate. Now let's look at this program. This program is to say good evening, and it will call your name, right? So I'll declare my function. I say def greet. So inside this def greet, I have what, name inside. Remember I said you have to have your what, your column. Okay, you have to have your column. If I say x equals to good evening, good evening, good evening, then I want to get what is inside there. Let's say I'm going to say plus, I have what I have inside is what, inside the function is what, is name, right? So good evening, name. All right, when you trigger this type of a function, let's say you say greet, and you run this kind of a function, you are going to get a big fat error. So but you should be learning how errors and how to debug error gradually as I write my code. Okay, so if I run this now, you're going to get a big fat error. What's the error? It said integer, this guy is still present or something. What's there? Enter your first name. I've commented it out now. So what do you have? You can see that I'm having error there. He's telling me that type error, greet missing one required positional argument name. So he's saying that what do you want name to carry? Do you get it? As long as you are passing name inside that function that you declared, you must feed your name. So what I'm going to feed a name, I want to feed it with a string value. Let's say I said ej, all right, with a string value, and I said ej. Let's see if that error is going to pop out again. What do I have? I'm having what's it saying? Greet ej is not running. Hope I'm not faster than this my interpreter.
Is it still running? Okay.
print. Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad. So I was supposed to come here and I said print what? Print X. Yeah, print X. Now, if I leave it like this, if I remove this EJ inside here and I run this program, I'm going to have a big fat error, which is what the missing one require what argument. But if I pass in EJ here, then I run this program, it's going to give me good evening words. EJ name EJ is not what is not defined.
Define.
All right, it's supposed to be in a what in a string.
The string.
Tosin, you've joined us.
Yes, a
Yeah.
couple of minutes ago.
You're welcome. So you can see now I'm having good evening words, EJ, but you
EJ.
can see that he's combining them together. How do I add space to it? You pass
Can add
concatenation.
parentheses, another.
I can add space
Space.
at this good evening. Abi, this is method.
No.
This will work.
Yes,
No,
This
sir.
will work.
will
This will
work.
work. This will work.
It will work.
Yeah, this
Ah,
will work. So this is
wow.
another method.
You can add another plus and
Yes,
put the
yes,
space.
thank you. I know. You are a programmer. So put my space here. So this one will also
Yeah.
work. This one will also work.
Oh, so you mean the other one will work?
Yes, the other one will work. No pipe.
Wow.
Just space it there to work. Now, are we good? Now,
Yes.
Tosin, we are talking about a function with what? With argument and a parameter. And I said something. If you have a function with argument and parameter, you declare a parameter. Parameter is what you pass in line 14. You notice that I declare my function and I pass in name. That name you are seeing there is a parameter. Okay? Is a parameter. Then at line 18, you notice that I am passing something inside the what? Inside the function when I call it, right?
Sorry, sir. In order to prevent repetition, I've joined when you were at line 5.
Line 5.
So I understand everything from line 5
Okay,
down.
okay. Now that is when you are having a word, a single word parameter. What if you are having multiple word parameter? Meaning I can have something like name 1, all right? I have name what? Name 2,
Two.
name 2, name 3 like that. A function can have multiple words parameter. So what we are going to do now, we're going to write a program that we're going to add two number together, but it's going to take the value from the word from the parameter. So let's say def, let's call it sum, that's addition. So I'm going to give this one num1, all right? Then I have another one called again num2. I have those here, right? Now if I come here and I said okay, oh, I want to use something, but I don't want to skip. If I say return, I want to use return statement, but I have not gotten to return side. So if I say sum, I use sum. No, I've used sum before. Had equals to num1 plus what? num2.
Number 2.
All right. Now when you call this function, sum, you need to pass in how many arguments now? 2 arguments for this guy to work. So I can say okay 40. The other one can be what? Something like let's say 3.50. When you run this program, you are going to get 43.50.
We are yet to declare print.
I'm here to declare print. So print what? Print hard. So I'm having 43 point what? 43.5.
0.5.
That is a multiple parameter inside your words, inside your function. Is that understood, please?
Yes, sir.
You're having multiple parameter inside your function.
But can you declare a variable and pass it into the function? Like instead of putting in the multiple parameter inside, assuming you have 50 of it,
I have 50.
can you declare them as that is assuming I have up to 5, instead of putting the parameter inside, can I declare it as a variable and pass that variable inside the
Yes, yes, that's the next.
function?
That's the next place I'm going to. There's a function with default. You know, we have function. Where I said parameter is what you want. Argument is what you feed into a parameter. but we have a function with default arguments. So that means the parameter is not a variable, is the argument is declared directly to the what, to the parameter. Let's look at that. That one is more balanced in the sense that you will not have error where in any way you call your function. Because this particular guy here, if I didn't pass anything here, it will give me a big fat error. It will tell me that two missing words require what, arguments. I did not pass anyone. You can see the guy here. Two require position argument, num1 and what, num2, which is going to be a big problem, right? But if I have come here and I said this one is equal to what, 40, and this one is equal to what, 3.50, it will work now. All right, it will work now. Why is it working now? Because this is a default what, argument. You declare your parameter, you pass the argument straight up. I don't know if I make any sense.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now this one, now it has two advantage. I can even see call this sum here, and I pass something inside. I can say okay, 80, all right, 80,7. If I run it, it will still run. It will still give me my results. 80 what, 87. You see that this one is more balanced than the other two that I've made mention of. Do we understand?
Yes, sir.
EJ, hope you are good.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I mixed
Yes,
something.
yes.
Num1 equals to 40, num2 equals to 3.5. So,
We are
okay, if
talking.
you sum them, okay, if you now use that first, where you call it, at that time it will automatically sum it because you have already passed the value to it inside
Yes,
the
I've already
function.
passed it inside. That's keyword argument. Where you declare your parameter, you pass the argument inside the function, inside the declaration of the function. That's called keyword arguments. I think you asked that question where you say, what if you have 50? You can, if you have another variable here, so parameter is a variable. You can say num3. If you say num3 equals to 60, so what do you think I'm going to have here? You're going to have plus what? Num3, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine, but number 24 will flag error. Hope you know that, because I only have
Yes.
two there.
Because,
Two
So,
variables.
but this one is going to be what? It's going to work fine. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.